Hi friends, welcome to another chapter of the series Free English Lessons. I am David Basantes Fierro, SLT second language teacher. Today we're going to have a class about inverted negative adverbials. This is a grammar class for level C1. And all right, so we're going to start. An inverted negative adverbial, it's a case in which we start a sentence with an adverb or an adverbial phrase. So let's see what this class tells us. All right, good. Inverted negative adverbial. In formal English, we can place a negative or restrictive adverb at the beginning of a sentence to make the sentence more emphatic or dramatic. This is very important. This happens in the formal aspect of English. When English is formal or academic, you will not find this in street language or colloquial language, informal language. It actually sounds too, let's say, cheesy. All right. So why we do this? This is important to make the sentence more emphatic or dramatic, to add emphasis or drama to a particular sentence. So the adverb is then followed by an inversion. What is an inversion? It's a sentence in the question format, which means auxiliary verb plus a subject plus a verb. All right, question format. Now this is very important. This will have this question format, but it is not a question. All right, so let's see some examples. Let's check this sentence. I could find my keys nowhere. This would be a regular sentence where in which the adverb goes in the end. Nowhere. This is the adverbial or adverb. Now, if we want, we can start the sentence with this adverb, nowhere. Nowhere could I find my keys. So as you see, if you start with the adverb, you invert the order or the syntax to match the form of a question format. Nowhere could I find my keys. So when there is no auxiliary verb, we use do or does for the present and did for the past as auxiliary. For example, I understand the true meaning only now. This is the regular sentence. Let's now change to this other format when we start with the adverb or the adverbial only now. Only now do I understand the true meaning. Again, as you see, we start with the adverbial and then we set a question or inversion format. Next sentence. I didn't say anything until she arrived. Now, and this part is very important because it is in a negative way. So, not until she arrived. This is an adverbial phrase. Not until she arrived did I say anything. All right. So now we're going to check the inverted negative adverbials of time. So these are sequences or adverbial constructions or pairs for time. Hardly, when. Barely, when. Scarcely, when. No sooner than. So let's see some examples and applications. Okay, so hardly had I arrived home when we heard the news. Here we have the adverbial, but it's separated or split with a when. And in here we have the inversion of the sentence. Had I arrived home? Barely when? Barely had I opened the book when Mark put on music. I think here's put. I'm sorry, put on music. Scarcely and when. So scarcely had we finished talking when he made the call. Finally, no sooner had the shop opened its doors than it went bankrupt. All right. So these are adverbials for time, and here we have an inverted form. Let's see. Inverted negative adverbials with the word only. All right. So the first case is only if plus a clause. Then we have only when plus a clause. Only now. Only and then any element. These are 4 cases for the adverb only. So here we have the first example. Only if we invest more money can we save the company. So here we have the adverb only if, or the adverbial, and this is a clause. Note that the inversion doesn't happen here in the clause, but rather in the next part, the next clause. Okay. Next, only when plus clause. So only when I sleep can I forget the incident. All right. Only when is the adverbial, and I sleep is the clause, and then we have can I forget the incident. Here is the inversion. Let's check only now construction. So only now can I understand what really happened. All right. So in this case, only now the inversion happens here, and later you have a clause, but the inversion happens immediately after the sequence only now. Finally, on the chicken did they serve for dinner, or only Mark could we trust. All right, so these are constructions with the adverb only. Now we're going to check constructions or adverbials with the word not. Here we have four cases: not only but also, not once, not since plus clause, not plus any element. So let's start with not only but also. So not only will you get a good result, but you will also be the best. All right. So the inversion happens after the word not after the word but. It happens here. Next, not once. Not once did she look at me at the party. All right. Not since plus a clause. Not since I was a child have I had such a great time. So here we have not since, and then we have a clause. And after this, we have the inversion. Finally, this one, okay. Not in a million years will I go back to that hotel, or not until I see her again will I be happy. So in this case, apparently we have always a clause here, and then we have the inversion. These are cases with the word not. Now we have another with the word no. Check, it's not the same as not, it's the word no. For example, under no circumstances, in no way, nowhere, no way. So this one, no way, is very informal. Anyways, let's check this one. Under no circumstances. Under no circumstances should we allow this to happen. Okay, so here we have the adverbial, and then we have the inversion. In no way am I related to this man. All right, so here we have the adverbial and the inversion. Let's see this one. Nowhere were the people more excited than in that stadium. And finally, this one. No way are we going to play for that. All right, so these are constructions with the word no. Now we have this one, this group, never, rarely, seldom, or little. Most of them, they are frequency adverbs anyway. Never, let's check with never. Never uses the expression before. So you can say never or never before. Yeah, it's equivalent, it's the same. So let's check. Never have I met such a stupid person, or never before have I met such a stupid person. Never has she felt so happy, or never before has she felt so happy. Check. We have the adverb first, and after that we have an inversion of the sentence. In this case, it's a present perfect, and you see it's in a question format. Let's check with rarely. Rarely did they speak to each other. All right. Seldom. Seldom have we seen him in his office since he took the job. And finally, little. Little did we know about him when we hired him. All right. So as you can see, basically, this is what we've been saying. You start with the adverb, and then you present the sentence in a question format or in an inverted format. Okay, so in narratives with past perfect, well, when we say the expression narratives, we're talking about the past, basically. When you share a story, something that happened to you, that's called a narrative. You use basically all the forms of the past. One of them is the past perfect. So when you use narratives, or when you're talking about something that happened in the past with past perfect, the inversion, we normally use hardly when, barely when, scarcely when, no sooner than. All right. So these constructions here, they are most of the time used with the past perfect. We're going to see some examples. Yeah, you don't really see these constructions with other tense other than past perfect. Okay. So we use no sooner than. This is another important thing. Many people, especially Spanish speaking people, tend to use that or when. No sooner that, no sooner when. No, this pair of words uses no sooner and than. So let's check some examples. Okay, so let's start with hardly. Hardly had I finished my breakfast when my boss calls me. So here you have the expression hardly and the expression when. When. As you see, we're using past perfect, as we've mentioned here. Another case, another sentence is, no sooner had I finished my breakfast than my boss called me. Now, what we're trying to say here is that this when is incorrect. All right. No, I'm sorry. This when is correct, actually, because we are using hardly. Hardly when, I'm sorry. Yes, this is correct. Here, we are using the expression than because we are starting with no sooner. All right, so both sentences here are correct. So basically, we just need to remember which conjunction or which WH question, but actually these are relative pronouns, I'm sorry, which relative pronoun goes with each adverb because they work in pairs. So remember, hardly when, barely when, scarcely when, no sooner than. All right, let's continue. Adverbials such as only if, only when, not since, not until, right? We have 4 cases. Use subordinate clause, subject plus verb. All right. The inversion is never in the subordinate clause, but in the main verb of the sentence. So let's see examples to clarify what we're trying to explain here. Okay. So only when I sleep can I forget about the incident. So here we have the adverbial clause, the adverbial, sorry. Here we have the inversion. And here we have a clause. All right. It's incorrect to say only when do I sleep can I. Only when I sleep. All right. So let's just repeat, okay? Only when I sleep, this section here, I sleep, this is the clause. I'm sorry, this is the clause. All right. This part remains in a normal form. Do not invert, don't do an inversion of this part. Do an inversion of the second part, okay? Let's check another sentence. Not since I was a child have I had such a great time. Yes. So again, not since, here we have, this is the adverbial. I was a child, this is the clause or subordinate clause. And here we have the inversion. So again, do not invert this part. Like, not since was I a child. So you have to respect that part. You do the inversion here. Well, of course, this requires practice. That's why you need to go to the exercises in the links that I provide. And also, of course, you can contact me or ask if you have any question to check. Remember, we provide one-to-one lessons for things you want a teacher for. Okay, so let's check this one. If you are in a doubt, it is always useful to look at the sentence without the negative adverbial at the beginning. In other words, going back to the original. So, I can't forget about the incident only when I sleep. I haven't had such a great time since I was a child. So this sentence here is the inversion format, and this sentence here is the normal presentation. These two sentences mean the same, this and this. Same thing with the second. The second sentence here is the inverted format. And down here we have the normal regular format, the one that is not inverted, okay? In other words, you can say, I can forget about the incident only when I sleep, or you can say, only when I sleep can I forget about the incident. Those two things are the same. You can say, I haven't had such a great time since I was a child, or you can say, not since I was a child have I had such a great time. All right. Let's check this last part. The main subject and verb are at the beginning of the sentence. And this is the element that must be in the inversion. So when you present the sentence in a regular format, the first part will be the one that you will have to invert. Right? Let's check the word not, another important aspect about the word not. Okay, we must always use not followed by another element before the inversion. Example, not often can we see such great expression of art. It's incorrect to say not can we see such a great expression of art often. And here the adverb is often. So if you put often at the beginning, right, and it's negative, you have to say it like this, not often can we see. Remember, don't forget the adverbial. Let's check some adverbs of frequency. We can also use inversions after the negative or restrictive adverbs of frequency, such as seldom, rarely, and never. We often use to talk about experiences. Sorry, let's repeat. We often use never to talk about experiences. In that case, we normally use present perfect or past. All right. Basically, just remember this, you can do inversions with this one. But when you use never, try to use present perfect or past perfect. This one's here you can use in any other tense, but um, this one's here you have to use in present perfect or past perfect. This never. Okay, let's see an example. Never have I seen such a beautiful work of art. Right, remember that we provide online exercises for free, so you can go in the description. If you're watching us on Instagram, please go up, click on the title of the video, and then you will display the link, so you can go there. And if you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, the links are in the description. All right, so also remember to follow us on Instagram, IGTV, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right, so well, see you in the next video. Thank you very much.